Hello, morning. So I did say last week I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to keep doing these sessions, but I've decided that I can. I'm going to try because I love it. It's great, and it's not as good as meeting you in person and having a yoga class, but it just kind of gives me that time to really think about the kind of stuff that makes me feel like me, which is practicing teaching yoga. So I'm going to try and carry on as long as I can, even though it's a little bit difficult with Cleo's naps. Um, and this week we're going to be looking at the hips and focusing on the hips. So I'm one of these people that used to feel that when my hips felt a little bit tight in one area, I would love to stretch them. And it does feel really, really nice to stretch your hips. It's very releasing, especially the front of the hips, so the hip flexors. It can feel psychologically and emotionally very releasing and relaxing. And there's possibly a couple of reasons for that. There's the psoas muscle, which runs up the front as one of the deep hip flexor muscles, and that muscle is kind of connected through its fascia to the diaphragm, which is the main muscle for breathing. So if the diaphragm is a little bit, if tightness in the psoas could lead to some restriction in the breathing. So maybe if you're in reverse, if your breathing is a little short and shallow, or a little bit stressed, then perhaps that would move into the psoas muscle, and you might find that your psoas muscle could also be a little bit tight, and therefore your hips feel sore. And then when you stretch that and release that, you suddenly are able to really take these lovely deep breaths. So, hi Denise. Oh, hi Helen. Yeah, I'm just waffling at the moment about hips. So that's one of the reasons I think it can feel so lovely to let go of your hips and go into these lovely deep hip stretches. But actually, our hips we have to think about them as a 3D structure. So not just the front or just the sides or wherever we feel that our hips are, but they go all the way around and the muscles wrap all the way around them. So when we're doing exercises, it's good to make sure that we do a little bit of stretching, yes, but also a little bit of strength work and a bit of mobility work for the hips, just to keep them really healthy and balanced in all their ranges of movement. And actually that might help in the longer term for your hips to generally feel a little bit better. So a bit easier, more mobile, less restriction. So this is a little bit fun, a little bit kind of some slightly odd movements. Some movements I've nicked, one movement at the end I've nicked from Helen because I loved it. So yes, nothing's new, we always steal from each other. So so what you may need is a little cushion just to sit your sitting bones on, or a little flat yoga block if you've got one handy. So if you grab that, hi Lauren. Oh. So if you grab your little cushion or little block or something to sit on, doesn't matter if you don't have one, but it can help. And then come and sit on your mat. And we're going to bring our little cushion or yoga block just under our sitting bones. So it's lifting us up off the floor just a little bit. And we're going to start by bringing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees go wide. So this doesn't have to be a really short posture with the heels close to you. So it can be a nice open diamond shape here. So just let those heels move away a little. Rest your hands comfortably on your legs. Now if this feels too strong for you, then just come to sit in a cross-leg position instead. So sometimes this does feel a bit strong, or maybe after a while it might feel a bit strong. So don't stay here. If you need to change position, just go ahead and change position. So let's take a moment to sit up nice and tall. So we're going to imagine our spine growing longer. So if you can think about the very tip of your tailbone. Oh, it's my dishwasher finishing. Up to the very crown of your head. And just find those 2 points and imagine that they're just lengthening away from one another a little bit. As you do that, drawing the chin in and slightly bringing the head backwards, so the back of the head's in line with the back of your body. Let your shoulders soften away from the ears. And we'll just close the eyes here and take a few more conscious breaths. Breathing in, down into the belly, and breathing out slowly and completely. And so as you deepen your breath, seeing if you can soften the very lowest part of your belly, and almost imagine that the breath is flooding down into this pelvic area and into these hips. And then as you exhale, just seeing if you can allow that breath to rise back up and out naturally. Maybe even just drawing the belly in towards the end of the breath, just to really empty the lungs. So talking about that relationship between breathing and the hips, as you allow your diaphragm to relax on the inhale, you let your abdominal muscles and organs relax, making space for your lungs. As the diaphragm can really fully expand and contract, that might help to start to release those deep hip flexor muscles as well, because of their connection through the fascia. Really nice full deep breaths, starting to settle here, move into a nice awareness of our body. And always moving today, and in any yoga practice and any movement practice, with mindfulness and kindness to yourself. So some movements might not feel particularly good for you, then you just modify or leave them out. And trust your instincts, trust your body. Good. Let's open the eyes. I'm just going to start with some pelvic tilt. So let your body roll back so that you're drawing your belly and you're rounding the spine. You're coming onto the back of your sitting bones, and then come forwards. Maybe use the hands on the knees, lift the chest, and see if you can tilt your pelvis forwards, coming onto the front of your sitting bones. So we're going to come through a few of those. Inhale as you bring the chest through, and exhale as you round. You can close the eyes if you want to. I just needed to move my feet in a little bit closer towards me to make this comfortable, so just adjust if you need to. Now we're mobilising the spine, the lower back, the hips, with just some lovely gentle breaths. Just a couple more. Nice and smooth. Nice and easy. Okay, coming back up into the centre. And then we're going to cross our legs. So you're going to bring your right leg in front of your left leg. I think Facebook mirrors, so I'm going to bring my left leg in front. But if it doesn't, then just make sure that you, if you mirror me, it's probably easier. Up to you, whatever feels easier for you. So still sitting up on your little cushion or your little block if it's comfortable for you. Bring the hands again onto the legs, and then our right leg is in front. We're going to circle around towards the right. So just making those circles as big as feels good for you. Nice easy movements. Really feeling into all of the edges of your hips, pelvis, lower back. And just imagining as you do this that you're giving them a massage. A nice, smooth, warming action here. Use your breath, inhale forwards, exhale backwards if that feels nice for you. The breath really doesn't matter as long as it's a conscious decision to breathe in a nice full way. Good, and then coming into the centre, we're going to reach the arms forward as we inhale, and then circle them back behind, lower the fingertips to the floor, and just take a moment to lift the chest, lift the heart, open the front of the body, lift the gaze but keep the back of the neck long. Good, and then releasing that, circle the arms forwards in front of you and then fold into the forward stretch here. Now, what does Lauren say? Oh, if you're in, that looks like your left leg is in front. Thanks, Lauren. Okay, while I'm doing my left, you can do whichever one works for you. I can't get my head around all these different platforms and what they do to your video. Okay, if you want to come a little deeper, you can slide the hands further. If you want to come a little higher, then just straightening the arms, just finding a lovely, nice stretch, gentle stretch for you and breathing into it. See if you can keep the back long rather than rounding forwards here. So just a little bit of a sense of lengthening the front and the back body. Inhale to come up, and then we're going to take the same hand as the leg that's in front as my left, and we're just going to slide it over diagonally to the right. And then inhale back up, and then take the other hand and slide it diagonally over to the other side. Inhale to come back, exhale to the first side. Inhale and exhale. Good, coming all the way back up as you inhale. We're going to release the little cushion or block, and then we're going to take this front leg, so my left leg, and we're going to take it around and place it down on the floor, so that the shin is just going back behind you. Just make the foot comfortable. You could flex it or point it, whatever feels comfortable. And then this front foot is just going to come into contact with the top of the thigh here. Okay, so you're in this kind of mermaid pose here. We're going to bring our front hand onto the front hip here, and we're just going to start a little gentle rocking movement. So in and out, over this static hip here, we're rolling the top hip forwards and backwards. So just taking this into whatever feels good in your body, and just knowing that some people's bodies move in certain ways and some people's bodies don't. So this might feel a bit strong. Just be gentle with yourself. I'm going to add in the arms, so just keeping that gentle rocking. We're going to reach forwards and then back to the heart as we exhale. And you can start to turn your gaze as well, so you're kind of looking around to the side. And then exhale back to the front. You might want to get a little bit more movement as you exhale, just turning and looking across the other shoulder as well. So we're just moving gently with the breath. There's no right and wrong here, just taking the time. Okay, coming back into the center, we're going to take this hand that's on our heart, place it down behind us, lean a little bit back. And then whichever leg is going behind you, you're going to see if you can lift that knee up and then lower it back down. That might be a really odd movement for you. Lift it up, so you're kind of spinning it on the back foot. Lift it up, lower it down. Doesn't have to be high. And just listening to how that feels in your body. This can feel really strange. Inhale and exhale. Little bit of mobility. So this is quite nice. This is getting some slightly different muscles than perhaps we normally use in yoga. Good. And then one more. And then coming to sit back up here, we're going to bring our left hand and hold on to the left shin and sweep the other arm up and over into a side bend. So really opening all the way down that right side. Breathe. Good. And then inhale, coming up. Place that right hand down just behind you. We're going to circle the left arm. Press the hips forwards and up. And lift the heart, open the front body, reach back. Breathe there. And then sit back down on the floor. Lovely. Okay. So we're going to straighten out this front leg. And then we're going to step the foot that's behind us up and over that front leg. So we've got the foot flat on the floor. And you're going to wrap your right arm around and hug the knee towards the centre. So we're really hugging it in close, and you may already start to feel a stretch in the outside of this leg. Taking your left arm, circle forwards, up and back, and land the fingers behind you, come into a twist. And just take it slow, maybe turning the gaze, as long as it's comfortable in your neck, to look back over the back shoulder. Keep the front foot active and flexed. Nice deep breaths. Good, and then slowly, gently on exhale, unwind. Okay, and we're going to do the whole sequence on the other side. So we're going to cross with the other leg in front. So you might be now the same as me with my right leg in front, or you might have the other one. It really doesn't matter as long as you do the opposite. Hands just resting on the legs and then circling around. We're going to do it to the side that the leg is in front to start with. Just circling around in any way that feels nice. Warming up, mobilizing hips, lower back. Just moving gently, letting your shoulders be soft, letting them move however they need to. Nice breath, conscious breath. Good, coming back into the center, sit tall, circling the arms forwards, inhale, exhale, take them wide, land the fingertips and take that lovely opening stretch for the front body. Fill the chest with breath. Good, coming back up, circling the arms forwards, coming into that forward fold to whatever depth feels nice for your body. And dropping in with your breath. Inhaling to rise up. And we're going to take that right arm as we exhale, slide it out diagonally. Inhale to center. Other way as you exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhaling back up, sit tall. So leaning back just a little bit, taking that front leg, and we're going to turn it around and place it down so the foot goes back behind us into this mermaid on the other side. So that left hand just coming to rest on the floor to support you. Hand onto that front or top hip, and then starting those little rocking movements. And you may find when you do this that actually it feels quite different from side to side. So maybe on one side your sitting bone on this top hip reaches the floor, and maybe on the other side it doesn't. Or you feel that there's more restriction in one side than the other, and that's really, really common and really normal, so please don't worry. And don't feel like you have to do the same on each side. So just move to a place that feels like you're doing something, but not painful, nice and gentle. Just moving in and out. Giving the body a chance, hand to the heart. So we reach across as we inhale, then exhale, hand back to the heart. Using your breath. Good, one more. Good, taking that right hand down to hold the right shin. Inhale, left arm up and over. Coming into that side stretch, breathing there. And then coming up on your inhale, landing the left hand just behind you. Circle the right arm, press the hips forward, see if you can rise up onto the knees. Open the front body and breathe. And then slowly lower that back down. Okay, so we're going to straighten the left leg and take the leg that's behind us and step it up and over that straight leg. Hugging the leg in and across with the left arm. Circle the right arm forwards all the way back behind you and coming into that lovely twist. A nice active straight leg. Let the toes reach up towards the ceiling, press the heels away. Find that lovely length and space as you inhale, and then as you exhale, just softening into the twist. Breathing here. And then slowly on an exhale, untwist. And we're going to straighten both legs out. Okay, you might want to keep your fingertips down on the floor to help sit you upright, but just keep the shoulders soft. So a little bend in the elbows, shoulders soft. And we're going to do a little mobility, another little mobility exercise for the hips, which is a bit odd, but it's quite good for you. So taking this right leg, we're going to turn it out to the side, so toes fall out. And then we're going to slide it out wide. I know I've gone off of shot there, but never mind. And then we're going to turn the foot in as we bring it back in to meet the front foot. So turn it out, the whole leg out from the hip. Let the whole leg move out to the side, just to a comfortable place. Turn the whole leg in from the hip, move it back in. Okay, so just keep going. Now see if you can just have that leg a little bit lifting off the floor. So it's brushing the floor, but you have got just a sense that you are activating it and lifting it up. You will have to lift it a little bit to slide it. So just a feeling there that you're using your leg muscles. It's hard if you're not used to this movement. Good. Just do a couple more. See if you can inhale one way and exhale the other way. Good. Let's come on to the other side. So inhale out, turn it in, exhale it in. Turn it out, inhale, turn it in, exhale. So with your breath. Okay, last one. Okay, good. And sit up nice and tall. And we're going to bring the arms up in front of us and flex at the wrists, so the palms pressing forwards. And then we're going to do a little bum shuffle. So kids do this all the time. Keeping your feet nice and engaged, so heels pressing away, toes up. You're going to walk forwards using your bum, one side and then the other side. So come off your mat, shuffle forwards. I'm getting closer. Okay, now I can see what everybody's saying on my screen. Oh, hi Sarah. And then walk backwards, so one bum cheek at a time. Trying to keep your feet, your toes up towards the ceiling, all the way back to your mat. So if you didn't have any room in front of you, you could just take maybe 4 shuffles forwards, 4 shuffles backwards. Let's do that again. Let's do 8. So I'm not going to get quite so close this time. And then backwards for 8. And again. This is advertised as yoga. I don't know what this is. Okay. Oh, that's actually relatively hard, isn't it? Relax the arms. I just to give my wrists a little circle. And then we're going to cross the legs again, but let's cross the right leg in front of the left. And let's just do a little bit of work on these hip flexors and the core. So we're going to come to inhale and sweep the arms forwards and up. As you exhale, make fists. Bring the elbows into your sides and do a little sit up, a little crunch in the belly. So hug the muscles in and up. Inhale forwards, open the heart. Exhale, squeezing in through the centre, and maybe just start to lift the knees up off the floor as well. Inhale forwards and up. Exhale, hug in, let the knees lift in and up, maybe float the toes. Inhale forwards. Exhale, squeeze it all in, float the toes. Now I want you to see if you can lift up through the chest so you're nice and long in the spine. Swap the cross of the ankles and let the other leg come in front. Inhale. Exhale. Cross the ankles the other way. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's stay here in Navasana. So uncross the legs and hold on to the back of the legs. I'm going to come sideways. So we want to try and lift up and out of our waist. So nice long spine. Activate the feet, so you can point them, you can flex them, you can half point, half flex. Lift the chest, draw the shoulders back and together, and really feel like you're lifting up and out of your waist as much as you can. So nice long spine. Breathing here. Good, and then cross the ankles again, reach forwards and up as you inhale. As you exhale, come back into Navasana. So you can hold on or you can let go, turn the palms up and just take a few breaths here, lifting up. It's okay to feel a little bit of a shake. Good, and then we'll do one more. So cross the ankles the other way, inhale up. Exhale, Navasana. You can straighten the legs if you want to, or just keep them here. Straightening the legs is going to really activate the front of the thighs. I'm not really feeling that today without holding on. Okay, releasing that, crossing the ankles, and see if you can rock across to come onto all fours. If that doesn't work, you can always sweep the legs around in one direction and come onto all fours. So knees under the hips and wrists under the shoulders. Spread the fingers really nice and wide. Press down into all of those knuckle joints and fingertips here. Okay. Take an inhale. Exhale to round into cat. Inhale. Exhale to round into cat. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the tail. And then as you exhale into cat this time, take it back towards the heels. Inhale to come forwards, lift the chest. I'm just going to tie my hair back so you keep going. Exhale, round the spine, sit back into child's. We're just taking that a few times, moving with your breath. Okay, and then we're going to come into child's pose with the knees wide. So just taking those knees a little bit wider, coming down. Stretching the hands forwards along the floor, and then just take a little wobble, wiggle, sway from side to side. So you can have your forehead on the mat, and just sway across the forehead and move the body weight from side to side in the hips. If child's pose is a bit much for you, you can always take your little cushion and pop it underneath the bottom so that it's just lifting you up a bit off the heels, and that will take the intensity out a bit, so that's an option. Okay, coming back into the centre. Just pause for a moment, soften. And then slowly rising back up to all fours. So remove your cushion if you've got one. My trousers are falling down. Okay. Alright, we're going to take the right leg, come forwards a bit, back behind us with the toes tucked under, and just rock forwards and backwards here, pressing that right heel away from you. I don't think my foot's in shot. So just rocking here, stretching into the back of that right leg. And we're just mobilising the wrists a little bit as well as we rock forwards and backwards. Good, come back into the centre. A little bit of a sense of pressing away through the hands, drawing the lower belly in and up, and then pick up that back leg so it's at hip height. Make sure the back of your head is lifted so you've got a nice long spine. And then we're just going to take 10 little pulses here with the leg up and down. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then turn that leg out so the toes point towards the right, and then bring that leg all the way around to the right at hip height if you can, and then lower it down out to the side so the feet flat, foot flat to the floor. Good, lovely. We're just going to come into a little sway here, forwards and backwards again. So rocking back, bottom towards the heel, and then rocking forwards. You don't have to go too deep into this, so just watch that left knee. If you feel any sort of discomfort there, take it nice and slowly and make it smaller. Good, and then coming back into the centre, we're going to come into a twist. So come up onto your right fingertips, inhale the left arm up and open to the side, and then exhale, slide the back of the left hand forwards along the floor, come into a kind of thread the needle variation. If you want to, you can also reach the right arm up and open. Maybe turn the gaze up and breathe. See if you can really connect that right foot into the floor. This feels great on my shoulders as well as my hips and legs. And lower that right hand. Come open into that lovely lifted open twist as you inhale. And then exhale. Hand back down to the floor. We're going to pick that right leg up out to the side, take it all the way back behind us, turn the toes down, and then lower the knee. Okay. Or maybe give the bottom a little rub if you feel it. Alright, other side. So left leg back, toes tucked under, and we're going to come into that little rocking motion, forwards and backwards. Pressing the heel away, stretching back through the sole of the foot, back of the leg. Just lifting into the upper back a little, so pressing the ground away, not collapsing into those shoulders. Good, lovely. Coming back into the centre, firming up the back of the left leg, lifting it up to hip height. 10 little pulses here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or you could do more. Turn the left toes out, keeping that leg high as you can. Take it out to the side. Lower it down to the floor. And then coming into that sway forwards and backwards again. So it feels a lot easier for me on this side, so I don't know why, something in my left knee, so I can go a little bit deeper into that on this side. Okay, just a couple more with your breath. And then popping yourself onto your left fingertips, open up through the right arm, and then exhale back of that arm along the floor, thread the needle on the other side. You can take that left arm up and open if you want to. Lowering the left hand, pressing into it, coming up into that lovely open twist, and exhale down. Okay, picking up the left leg, taking it back behind you, turning the toes down and lowering the knee. Lovely, well done. Okay, so we just take the hands a little further forwards and then shift the weight forwards into the hands, let the pelvis dip to the floor and lift the chest. And I want you to tuck the elbows in and push the ground away so you're not collapsing here and bringing the shoulders up to the ears. Then we're going to draw the belly in and move back into child's pose. Then inhale to come up. Now see if you can really round the spine as you come up and let the weight of the hips come down. Let that unfurl the spine as you lift the chest. And then draw it back. And you can really tuck the tail and come back through the cat if you like. Just a few more of these. Nice deep breaths. Hinging at the hips. Okay. Let's come up into a downward dog. So lifting up, tucking the toes and lifting the hips. Keep the knees nice and bent to start with. If you need to, have a little walk out from side to side. Just feeling into the back of those legs. First downward dog of the day, always feels so lovely. And also it's nice to move in it, I think. Alright, okay, we're going to bend the knees. I'm going to walk the hands back towards the knees, and then we're going to turn the knees out to the side. So the heels, I'll just come to face you. The heels are quite close, if not touching, and the knees are out wide. And then we're going to let the bottom sink back a bit as we fold the chest forward. Walk the hands away and just see if you can fold in and over your legs. It's quite a strong hip stretch on the inner thighs. Might be a bit strong for some knees, so just be careful. If you need to come back up, you can come back up. The alternative, you could take the feet a bit wider and come more into a Malasana squat if you don't like that one. And whichever one feels good for your body. Deep breaths. Lovely, and then lifting the chest, and we're going to walk back forwards onto all fours. So bringing the knees down, coming back onto all fours. Lovely, tucking the toes, inhale, exhale, downward dog. And then inhale, the right leg lifts up and back behind you. Keep the hips square, so I'm not opening the hips, so just keeping that right hip in line with the left hip. As you exhale, bring the knee to the chest and curl forwards towards the top of the mat. Now see if you can pick that knee up really high, maybe even give it a kiss. and then take it back up and open as you inhale. Exhale it in, lift it up, give it a kiss. Inhale. Exhale. Mwah. And then see if you can lift that foot up and step to the top of the mat. Good. If you need to help it out, help it out. We're going to wriggle the back leg back, place the back knee down on the mat. So we're in a nice low lunge. I come up onto my fingertips here. I need that little bit of length and extra height there. You could always put some blocks under your hands. Untuck the back toe. We're going to inhale, lift the chest, look forwards. As we exhale, we're going to shift the weight back, stretching that front leg. Inhale forwards, exhale back. Inhale forwards. You might start to peel that front foot up, coming back onto the heel if that feels okay. Moving in and out. Coming forwards into the lunge, walk that right foot a little wider, turn the right toes out, and then we're just going to take a moment to drop in here, letting the knee move out to the side, maybe coming onto the little toe edge of that right foot. Lift the chest, breathe, and then bringing that back into the centre, right hand down on the outside. We're going to tuck the back toes under, lift the back leg, and then we're going to push into the hands and see if we can pick that front leg up and turn the right knee out to the side. So the shin is more towards, lined up towards the front of the mat. And then shift forwards and see if you can lie that leg down on the mat. So coming into pigeon. Wriggle the left foot back behind you. Good, so coming into the centre, walking the hands back towards you. Lifting the chest. Just taking your time, letting your body adjust. And maybe walking forwards onto the forearms, coming into quite passive stretch for a few breaths here. And come further down if you need to. Deep breaths. And see if you can allow your exhale to drop you in deeper. So follow the exhale down into the posture, sinking into the floor. Allowing gravity to do its thing. I'm going to rise back up, so lifting the chest, walking the hands in. We're going to do the opposite kind of thing here. So we've been sort of dropping into gravity, where instead we're going to hug the legs in towards one another. So it feels like you're lifting your hips up a little bit. So you squeeze the thighs in towards one another. See if you can come up even more so that you're actually fingertips on the floor. You might have quite a space underneath your hips and pelvis towards the floor. And then see if you can reach the arms up. Inhale. So keep squeezing the thighs in towards one another. See if you can bring that back hip forwards and the front hip backwards and both thighs into the middle. That might be really strong. And then exhale, come down. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. And again, we're going to see if we can pick up that front leg. So just picking up the shin off the floor, pushing into the ground, and step it back into downward dog. And then inhale the left leg up to hip height. Flex the foot, heel back behind you. Exhale, knee towards the nose and give it a kiss. Inhale up. So one of the most useful things here is to really push the ground away and almost like dome your upper back and hug the belly in, almost like you're rounding, like a cat stretch. Really helps you get the height you need. But we're working on the strength of our psoas muscle as well, as it's bringing the leg forwards and lifting it up. I think I've done too many, but never mind, it's good for you. Lift it up really high, step it up and over. See if you can get it to the front of your mat. Wriggle your stretch longer, back knee down. Good, so I'm coming onto my fingertips, untucking my back toe, lift your chest, inhale. Exhale to rock back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe start to peel that front foot up off the floor. Coming forwards, into the lunge. Walking that left foot out to the side, turning the left toes out, right hand to the mat, and just take a moment to drop that left knee out and away, and breathe. Coming back into the centre, left hand down, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. See if you can press into the mat to pick up that front leg. Turn it out, so the left knee towards the left wrist, lie it down on your mat. Wriggle the right foot back, come into pigeon. So walk the hands back in towards you, come into the centre. Nice deep breaths, folding into a passive stretch, wherever, to whatever depth suits you this morning. Maybe closing the eyes, dropping in with your breath. And just giving our body time in this pose. And what we're actually doing is giving the muscles a chance. If we've got a stretch reflex that sends a message back to the brain to say, oh, too far. And if we take time, that stretch reflex relaxes and switches off, and the muscles are allowed to go a little bit further into the stretch. So we're just slowly doing it. If you go too deep too quickly, you'll feel a lot of trembling, and that's the stretch reflex trying to work. So just maybe coming back a bit if that's happening, and just being patient. Walking hands back in and up, coming into that more active pose. So we're going to imagine we're hugging the inner thighs together, and we're drawing the back hip forwards and the front hip backwards, so we're nice and stable in the middle. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. So a nice active pose, lifting off the floor, breathing here. It's hard. And then coming all the way back down, hands to the mat, tuck back toes under, lift the back knee, and then pick up if you can that front foot, and step it back into downward dog. Woo. Good. Okay, let's just take a little twist. So bend your right knee, look under your left armpit, and then bend your left knee, twist towards the right, look under your right armpit, and just take that from side to side a few times. Okay, good. And come back into child's pose. Nice wide knees. Sit back. Take a pause. Let me just see what time it is. Oh, blimey. Where does the time go? Where does it go? Okay. We're going to come over to lie on our back. So just coming up to all fours, coming over to one side, bringing yourself around. And come all the way back down onto your back. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together and take the knees wide here. And lift your hips up just for a second. Scoop your tailbone under you and then lay the hips back down. Just notice if the knees have gone wide, has that really arched your lower back? Because we don't really want that. We want the lower back to be quite neutral. Maybe just press the feet together a little bit. That might again take that deep arch out of the lower back. So we've just got slightly active legs here, and that should make it feel a bit more comfortable if this feels like too much of a stretch. Take the arms out to the sides, and we're going to come into cactus arms. So out to the sides and then bend the elbows, and we've got a right angle at the elbow with the hands going back. Palms facing up. Good. Lovely. So just breathing here for a moment. This is Helen's little move, which I absolutely loved. So we're going to take the right knee up towards the ceiling, and then let that right leg close towards the left as you come into a twist, with both knees together and both ankles together. Maybe let the head turn to the right. Take a couple of breaths there. Coming back through centre, so head comes back into the middle, you open the legs like a butterfly wing, and close the left leg over towards the right. Let your head turn to the left. Okay, going back to the middle, left leg opens, and as you do that, we're just going to pick up the lower arms, the forearms, so the elbows stay glued to the floor, and we're going to let the palms come down onto the mat, or as much as they will. So you're in this kind of like a hanger, I suppose. You feel like a bit like a coat hanger with your forearms coming down to the mat. And for me, that feels really odd in my shoulders, but definitely a really nice stretch. And then as you bring that right leg across, you're going to take those forearms back and up into cactus arms as you look to the right. So let's inhale, lowering the palms and the forearms, opening the knees. Exhale, left knee across, turning the head to the left. So a bit of coordination, engage brain, but nice and active movement through this combination of stretches. I don't know why, but this just feels amazing for me. Like, it really feels like it's getting into loads of little sticky bits in my body, my shoulders and my hips. Okay, so last one as you come over to the left, and then coming back into the centre, and we'll just use our hands on the outer thighs to help the knees come in. Give the legs a little hug in towards you. Squeeze them in, and let's circle the knees. So just bring them in, swim them out wide, take them away and bring them back together.
Did you mean Denise?
I thought I'd muted both my Alexas, but obviously not. Circling the knees.
Denise?
Oh dear. And then take these circles the other way.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding.
Oh dear. Okay, so we're going to keep the right knee in towards the chest, place the left leg down on the floor, and just give that a nice squeeze into the belly. Place that right ankle on top of the left thigh, let that right knee drop out to the side. Just have the other hand down by your side or on your belly. Now you're just going to bring your hand onto that right thigh, and see if you can just put a little gentle pressure onto it. So it does depend how open your hips are. If your hips are really, really open in this direction, you might just have to bring the knee in a bit closer towards you so that you can actually reach your thigh. So we've got right hand on the inner thigh. Nice and strong in the ankle by pushing the heel away. And then we're going to push this right leg back into the hand, the right hand, but we're going to resist with the right hand. So the elbow is locked and the right arm is straight, and you're just providing something to push the knee against. And I would say about 30% of your strength, so not too strong, but it's a consistent feeling of pushing into the hand. And breathe as you do this. So it's not super, super strong, but you're just resisting the action of the leg as you try to bring the knee back into the centre. And then let it relax and release everything, and just let that leg be heavy for a moment or two. Good, we're going to uncross that leg. So picking it up, placing the right foot down, hugging the left knee in towards your chest for a moment, squeezing it in. Left ankle to top of right thigh, let that left leg drop out to the side. And then straightening that left arm, just providing some resistance as you try to close the knee back into the chest. About 30% of your maximum strength here. And resist with your hand. Breathing all the time. And then let it relax. Let it soften. And then gently release. Tucking both knees in. We're going to take the knees wide, reach the hands up for the feet. Maybe you can find the outer edge of the feet, or maybe you need to hold the ankles, doesn't matter, whatever works. Coming into happy baby pose with the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. My daughter is just an ace at happy baby pose. She can get her feet in her mouth, everything, it's amazing. And she quite often does one leg happy baby pose with the other leg straight, and it's just a joy to watch her. So just picture smiling happy baby playing with their feet. See if you can have a feeling of happiness as you sit here or lie here, in this pose. Maybe even just have a little play around. So rock from side to side a bit, see how that feels. Maybe smiling as you do. Imagining those happy babies. Maybe straighten one leg and bend the other knee down to the floor. Just have a little experiment. What can you do here? What feels nice? What makes you feel happy? Happy hips. Maybe take the legs wide, straightening the knees for a moment. You can rock there. Lovely. Okay. And bring it all back in, placing those feet back down on the floor. And we're going to come into just a really brief Shavasana. You can have your legs in any arrangement that works for you, but maybe just try having them long and really switching off the hips completely and just letting them relax. So give the legs a little wiggle in and out, in and out, in and out, and then let the toes flop out. Let the arms come down by your sides. Let's take a nice deep breath in. Big sigh as you exhale. Feeling heavy. Closing the eyes. Settling down into stillness. And I can hear the sound of birds singing. I don't know if you can hear that. So whatever you can hear around you, just noticing the sounds. Being really present with your breath, the rising and falling of your body as you breathe. Consciously softening on the exhale, letting muscles be easy and released. Letting the body be heavy. Okay, so gently deepening the breath, moving a little through the fingers and the toes. Ooh, take a nice big stretch with the arms up and over your head, point your feet, flex your feet, and then coming over to one side, coming up slowly, pressing the hands into the floor. Come to a seated position. And that feels so much easier for me now, just much more comfortable in my hips. Just take a moment to sit, pause, bring palms together, just closing the eyes again, notice how you feel. And just take a moment to arrange your face into a gentle smile. Or a great big grin if you like, if that's what you feel. And then bowing your head in gratitude to yourself for doing the practice. Namaste. There we go. Finished. Great, great, great. Who have I got? Oh, husband's watching. Great. Lauren, lovely. Okay, my love, so I hope that was useful. I hope that helps. It's really good to do those kind of things quite regularly, especially if you feel that your hips are a little bit wonky, or your pelvis feels a bit twisted or wonky or stuff like that. Especially after having Clio, I definitely feel like one side of my pelvis is different to the other. So those kind of movements can feel really nice, and they can really help develop your stability and your strength in your hips, as well as your mobility and your flexibility and the muscles around the hips. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for practicing. I'll try and keep going next week, same time, same place. All right, take care. Bye.